beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this creative intuitive transmission today. Today we have created a beautiful high frequency or high vibration collage, which is entitled Lyriän, and that you can see here on the right. And before we actually look at this artwork and how it was created and in which context, what inspired it, let's look first of all at our music, because our CITs, or creative intuitive transmissions, always present two pieces of music that contribute to offering us an invitation or a message today of high frequency or high vibration. So the first piece of music that I was inspired by my high frequency guidance or higher self to share with you is a beautiful song by a singer called Susana Baca. And the name of the song is Maria Lando. It's the name of a woman. This song was originally written by Isabel Granda y Lorco and first sang by Pedro Aznar. But Susana Baca is taking this song again and offering it to us in a very, very beautiful way. She has a wonderful voice. She's a Peruvian singer. And she, not only that, she's an amazing singer, but she's really interesting because she's a folklorist and ethnomusicologist. So there's this study of culture through music in Susana Baca's let's say practice or creative practice. So that's really interesting. Maria Lando is a beautiful song, very poetic, and it actually globally talks about, in the first part of the song, it describes in a very, very poetic way the phases of during the day where, you know, there's the beauty of the morning with certain elements to the morning, beauties of the lunchtime, and then beauties in the afternoon. And there's this whole beauty in the different cycles of the day that, you know, it's very poetic. And when you think about it, when you're really mindful to that, life becomes a wonder, like every moment is beautiful. But then the second part of the song addresses the question of Maria Lando, who is a woman who is working all the time. She's working really hard. She's, I don't know if she's a peasant woman or whatever it is. You know, she can be working in the fields. She could be working in the markets. Who knows? It doesn't matter. I think it symbolizes so many women, but also men, obviously, both men and women who work really, really, really hard in our world. We tend to associate that with, you know, a lot of third world countries or whatever. But personally, I feel that here in our Western countries, we are also, in a way, stuck in this I wouldn't say work addiction, but work slavery kind of process, where obviously we're not going through the same, not all of us at least, are not going through the same horrible conditions of work in which certain people from developing countries, or I don't know what's the exact word, third world countries, you know, anyway, are going with. You know, a lot of people are still working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, just to be able to survive, you know, in many countries. But even in our supposedly rich countries, we are slaves to our work. Some because we want to, but mostly because it's like a program. It's a system that has kind of brought us into this matrix of being so busy working that we don't have time to know who we are, go within, do the things we love, be in mindfulness, be in presence, be in joy of the high frequencies that life has to offer. So we're stuck in this work matrix and this work slavery. So, you know, even if the song talks about this woman who's working really hard, I don't know if it, again, in the fields or in the market or whatever, but it really symbolizes all of us working like slaves to just be able to survive on this planet, which is, we are at the end of this phase. We are transmuting that now as a choice, as a sovereign humanity. We're choosing, hopefully, to transmute that and transcend that. But, you know, this song represents that. And I would like to read you a translation of the words, because I think they're quite beautiful, quite poetic. And it's a song in Spanish, so I will just read to you the English translation of the two first three first paragraph, which really, you will see what I mean. The dawn bursts like a statuette of wings scattering through the city. At the noontime chimes a water bell, golden water bell that forbids us solitude, and the night raises its long glass and long cup, early moon over the sea. So very poetic, very, inspiring of nature and the day cycles. But for Mary or Maria, there is no dawn. But for Maria, there is no noon. But for Maria, there is no moon. Raises her red cup over the waters. Maria has no time to raise her eyes. Maria to lift her eyes. Broken from sleep. Maria broken from sleep, of going about suffering. Maria of going about suffering. She only works. Maria only works, only works, only works. Maria only works, and her work is alien. So you get my point there with this beautiful music, these beautiful words. You have this notion of suffering. I want to say something, however, that comes from my personal experience. Probably some of you know, I was raised as the daughter of development voluntary workers, and we traveled all over the world as a child. And I lived 2 years in Chad and Cameroon, and we've had to leave Chad because the war started there, and we finished our contract in Cameroon. Anyway, all to say that in many African countries, there are a lot of challenges, like wars, for example, but not just. There, poverty and lack of certain basic, things that people need, water, food, whatever. It's not always easy. But what I remember the most as a child in Africa is when people, even if they were going through pain and challenges, they were able to not suffer. I'm not saying there was no suffering. What I'm saying is that I've seen so many people, children, women, men, laughing, dancing, being connected to music, to high frequencies all the time within their challenging lives. Women going to the market and toiling on the fields like men as well, but then finding these moments to stop and dream and laugh and sing together and dance. And that's always stayed with me, this notion that suffering is a choice. Pain and hurting, we don't always choose, because life comes with that. And the Terran experience is also partly a very challenging experience in all kinds of ways, maybe through diseases or life challenges, lack of money or whatever. But then the choice to suffer is a choice. And this is really a standpoint. We can decide, we're sovereign, and we can choose not to be slaves anymore. Sometimes we cannot always choose our life circumstances. What I'm trying to say here is that Maria Lamo, I'm not saying, she's happy to be working like crazy and that she's a slave and she chose that. No, obviously she's stuck in the system, like we kind of all are. And there's two possibilities. Either there's the conscious choice to come out of that system and choose something else for our lives, if it's possible. And it's always possible when we make it a priority. Or we can, within the challenges, go through the challenges and choose our attitude, our standpoint, being of not choosing not to suffer when we hurt, or when we are going through any challenges, because it's always a choice. Our attitude can change. And in that song of Maria, she could, even though she's working all the time, there could be that possibility of her not suffering, but instead perhaps hurting of the fact that she has to work a lot, but try to find these moments, these times when you can just, in one moment of mindfulness, you can see the breeze, you can see the light, you can see the beautiful things that are described in the first paragraph, which is very poetic. So it's always a choice. So I thought that was very inspiring as a message, on top of the song being extremely beautiful. Secondly, the second song that I was inspired, or piece of music was inspired to share with you today, is, again, and I have a lot of Johann Sebastian Bach in my music folder, so it often happens that this music, pops out. randomly. So the piece of music by Bach today is the Concerto for two harpsichords, strings, and continuo in C minor, BWV 1060, and it's the Adagio, which is very soft, very beautiful, very high vibe. There is a softness there. I can only think of quartz, pink quartz crystal. You know, when I hear that song, it's very music. It's very peaceful, enveloping, loving, high frequency, high vibration, and a reminder that life doesn't have to be hell. Because even if it hurts, even if it's challenging, we can make the choice of not suffering and choose in our lives the elements that bring us more peacefulness, more joy. It's a choice to focus on joy or on love or on the positive high frequencies that that we, you know, that are there, but that we need to connect to have them in our lives. So that's a beautiful piece of music. Now, interestingly enough, as always, as I've told you many times, I will decide to wear something in the morning long before I actually start the CIT session, and I never know what's going to be the topic. And today I chose my Da Mama Focus on Love t-shirt for some reason, which is our beautiful annex here, which is a contact of Elena Danan, and I invite you to see the gift from the stars to know more about Annex, but also her YouTube channel. Beautiful being, full of high frequencies. He's a very high frequency being, and he offers this message, Da Mama, which means focus on love, and reminds us of the importance of focusing on high frequencies of high vibrations, such as love or joy. And so I thought it was interesting that we had this this t-shirt there chosen today. Furthermore, we have a background that was also chosen randomly by my guidance, and I will just push myself a little bit so you can see all the elements of this beautiful background. So what you have here is a beautiful landscape with incredibly beautiful oblique orange light. It's very inspiring. You have the pink color of the trees, which is very fantasy-like, very out of this world. It's quite beautiful. You have this wind and these birds, and you have this person, this young woman here alone with balloons who are pink, and she's in the wind. And although the sky is a little bit, you know, to the storm, it suggests a little bit of a stormy kind of sky or weather, which could represent the challenges. But you have this young woman just choosing to be in this space of high frequencies of joy, of dreaming, of daydreaming, of being in high frequencies. And that reminds me of a part in the song of Susana Baca, Maria Lando, which when the words say, she doesn't have to dream. She doesn't have time to dream. She doesn't have time to daydream. She's working all the time. And again, I find this here, this call, this invitation to, even in the worst of circumstances in our lives, to find these high frequencies, connect to them, connect to our dream world, connect to our fantasy, connect with our imagination, connect with the highest part of our heart, of our soul, of our everything that's beautiful, that's inspiring. So I thought that was an interesting background here. So that's for the music and the background and the t-shirt. Now, the artwork that I've created today, inspired by all of these elements, is called Lyriän. Lyriän. And Lyriän is quite a joyful collage today, with this kind of pinkish reddish background with lots of flowers and birds in flight. It's very, very high vibe. It's one of my favorite red color papers. It's very inspiring. It's very filled with high frequencies for me. It really represents this notion that we find in the pink tree here and the pink balloons that the young woman is holding, and this whole question of connecting to something inspiring and beautiful in high frequency. So it's there, it's all around us, it's our background, it's there for us to connect to. Then you have that central large black circle, which often, as I've often said, the black color in my CITs represent or symbolizes the challenges that we encounter in our lives, which are the ones Maria Lando is encountering in her life. But there are these golden little dots, scattered around the black surface of the circle, which remind us of source, of high frequencies, of high vibrations, because gold, as always in my CITs, is symbolizing the source energy, the high frequency, the higher self energy that we can connect to. And so, yes, there is this large black circle, but it's spotted with, high frequency energies with the gold, and it's surrounded by these beautiful high vibration red paper with white birds in flight and very joyful. We have in the lower circle a golden with the flower of life motif, which again always represents the connection to source for me, and not only to source but to the higher self or fractal of source that we all are individually. And then there's this little red circle in the middle of that circle, which is, to me, represents the connection to source through the heart rather than the head. And it's by going within and in the heart that we can find this high frequency. In the large dark circle, we have a smaller dark circle, which is black with golden waves, again representing challenges. Often in my CITs, waves represent challenges, but from this large and smaller circle, black and gold with challenges, and again the gold remind us that challenges give us the possibility to evolve as a soul. So there's a treasure, there's a golden aspect to this darkness, and from this emerges these two beautiful wings there that represent the blooming towards source, towards life, towards what the possibilities that the background red paper offer of high frequencies and high vibrations. So it's opening up to this, choosing not to suffer when we're hurting, and choosing joy and love and focus on that love and joy and those high vibrations in this poetry of life, and the beauty of life of at every moment through mindfulness that we can all do if we choose to, not be stuck in our pain and come out of it, transmuted it, or choose otherwise if possible. So this is what emerges from the collage and the music in the background. This collage, this original collage, is available on my online boutique or art shop at abigaëllerichard.com. And there is also a digital file available of this same artwork of large 8x10, same format as the original, that you can download and print and do as you wish, either to frame it or just put it in your sacred space, or use it as a background for your electronics. It brings high vibe on all day long, so it's a good way to keep this reminder of choosing not to suffer even when we're hurt. So that's for the collage. I will now leave you with the two beautiful pieces of music, and you will be able to listen to that and the words while you see how this creation Lyriän is being created. And so I wish you a lovely day, high frequencies, high vibrations, and always, I invite you, and the guidance invites you to always remind yourself that you are not a victim, and you can always choose not to suffer, even when you're hurt or you're in pain or in dis-ease or in challenges, because it's always a choice. Take immense care of yourself. See you soon. Bye.
estalla como una estatua de alas que se dispersan por la ciudad. Y el mediodía canta campana de agua. Campana de agua de oro que nos prohíbe la soledad. Y la noche levanta su copa larga. Su larga copa larga, luna temprana por sobre el mar. Pero para María no hay madrugada. Pero para María no hay mediodía. Pero para María ninguna luna alza su copa roja sobre las aguas. María no tiene tiempo, María Lando, de alzar los ojos. María de alzar los ojos, María Lando, rotos de sueño. María rotos de sueño, María Lando, de andar sufriendo. María de andar sufriendo, María Lando, solo trabaja. María solo trabaja, solo trabaja, solo trabaja. María solo trabaja y su trabajo es ajeno. Pero para María no hay madrugada. Pero para María no hay mediodía. Pero para María ninguna luna alza su copa roja sobre las aguas. María no tiene tiempo, María Lando, de alzar los ojos. María de alzar los ojos, María Lando, rotos de sueño. María rotos de sueño, María Lando, de